Hey there, fellow gardeners and veggie lovers. Do you find your cucumbers struggling in the summer? Between aphid attacks and powdery mildew wiping out your harvest, and immediately your hand reaches for that magic bottle of chemicals, right? But what if I told you there are 8 proven natural ways to protect your green darlings without using a single drop of chemicals? Get ready to be surprised. These methods aren't just safe, they're sometimes even more effective. We've become so used to relying on chemical solutions. They promise quick results, don't they? Just spray, and the pest is gone. But few people stop to think about the residue those chemicals leave on the fruits, in the soil, and even in the air. Fortunately, there are good old-fashioned methods plus new scientific insights to help. Getting back to nature isn't just a trend, it's a necessity. Our goal is to harvest a clean, healthy crop. So let's break down, step by step, how to give your cucumbers immunity naturally, without harmful chemicals. And we'll start, perhaps, with the most important thing, something that's literally right under your feet. The first secret is healthy soil. Yes, you heard that right, don't be surprised. Many people forget that the soil is the very foundation of life for any plant. Instead of just seeing it as dirt, imagine it as a whole living world. Healthy soil is teeming with beneficial microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, worms. They make the soil loose, aerated, and break down organic matter, transforming it into readily available nutrients for plants. Think of them as invisible workers tirelessly labouring for the benefit of your harvest. If the soil is depleted, compacted, or infected with harmful microbes, the plant simply can't develop properly. Its roots will be weak, it won't have the strength to grow, and that's when it becomes an easy target for diseases and pests. It's like a person with a weak immune system. Any little bug can knock them down. A strong plant, on the other hand, growing in lively, fertile soil, has powerful roots and sturdy stems. It gets balanced nutrition, and its cells are strong. Such a plant is naturally much more resistant to attacks from the outside. So how do you make your soil healthy? It's actually quite simple. Use compost. Add well-rotted manure. Sow green manures. These are plants specifically grown to improve soil structure. Avoid deep digging unless absolutely necessary, so you don't disrupt the life of those beneficial microbes. This isn't a magic pill that works overnight. Building healthy soil is a process. It takes time and patience. But it is the very best investment you can make in your future harvest and the health of your plants. Strong soil means strong cucumbers. It's a simple, yet incredibly important truth. All right, let's move on. Now that we've established a solid foundation with healthy soil, we turn our attention to the next crucial factor, and this is all about water and air. The second key to success is proper watering and ventilation. Many gardeners underestimate this point. It might seem simple, just water, right? But incorrect watering and a lack of fresh air are a direct route to many fungal diseases such as powdery mildew or various types of rot. Imagine a greenhouse on a hot day. It's hot, humid, and the air is stagnant. Perfect conditions for harmful fungi to multiply. They absolutely love this kind of sauna for your plants. The leaves stay wet, moisture lingers, and before you know it, the first spots start to appear. So what should you do? Water your cucumbers strictly at the base, right at the roots. Try to avoid getting water on the leaves, especially in the evening, so they have plenty of time to dry before nightfall. This is a very simple rule, but it significantly reduces the risk of diseases. And make sure to ventilate your greenhouses. Regularly open the vents and doors. Create some air movement. Fresh air prevents fungal spores from settling and developing. Even a little bit of airflow makes a huge difference. It might seem elementary, but trust me, following these 2 simple rules, watering at the base and ensuring good ventilation, can prevent half the problems you might encounter with your cucumbers. It's your straightforward, yet incredibly effective prevention strategy. Okay, so we've sorted out the breathing and watering for our cucumbers. Now let's talk about who their neighbours are. Believe it or not, who you plant next to your cucumbers can make a big difference. The third tip is all about companion planting. In the plant world, there's a fascinating concept called allelopathy. It's essentially how some plants release chemicals that can affect the growth or development of others. And guess what? We can totally use this to our advantage in the garden. Some plants release compounds called phytoncides. Think of them as natural pest repellents with a strong scent. Many common garden pests absolutely hate these smells. Pests like aphids or spider mites will actively avoid areas where their least favourite plants are growing nearby. So who are these fantastic neighbours for cucumbers? Marigolds are a great example. Their cheerful, bright flowers aren't just pretty. They actively help deter nematodes in the soil and certain flying insects. You can plant them along the edges of your cucumber patch or even tucked in between the plants. Picture this, your lush green cucumbers surrounded by vibrant marigold blooms. Beautiful and practical. Another excellent companion is dill. Its distinct aroma is something aphids absolutely can't stand. Plus, dill attracts beneficial insects which we'll discuss a bit later. Basil, mint and lemon balm. Their strong scents can also help keep certain pests away. Even planting some garlic nearby can be effective in deterring spider mites. The key is to choose companion plants that won't compete with your cucumbers for light or nutrients. Instead, they'll create a kind of invisible protective barrier around them. It's a clever, all-natural approach that works wonders without needing any chemicals. As a bonus, it also makes your garden look and smell fantastic. Okay, let's keep building our natural defences for our cucumbers. We've already taken care of the soil, watering, ventilation, and finding good plant neighbours. Now it's time to invite some real heroes into our garden. Method number 4, attracting beneficial insects. Not all insects in the garden are pests. There's a whole army of tiny helpers who are happy to munch on aphids, mites, larvae, and other enemies of your harvest. Our job is to create conditions so they'll want to move in and stay. Who are our main allies? Of course, ladybugs. One ladybug can eat thousands of aphids in its lifetime. They're truly garden superheroes. Show a close-up of a ladybug on a leaf. Another important helper is the lacewing. Its larvae are voracious predators that will wipe out aphids, mites, and thrips. Show a photo or video of a lacewing larva devouring an aphid. Spiders are useful too, even if some people are afraid of them. They catch many pests. How do you attract these wonderful creatures? Plant things in your garden that beneficial insects love. These are nectar and pollen-rich plants, also known as attractant plants. For example, dill, carrots, if you let them flower, cilantro, phacelia, and clover. They attract lacewings and other helpful predators. Beneficial insects also appreciate it when there's a little corner of wild nature in the garden. A small patch of uncut grass, a pile of brushwood. They need places to hide and rest, and most importantly, don't use broad-spectrum insecticides. Even natural ones. They'll kill not only the pests, but the beneficial insects too. Our goal isn't to wipe out all insects, but to create a natural balance where our helpful friends keep the pest populations in check. Attracting beneficial insects creates a living shield for your cucumbers. It's working with nature, and it yields beautiful, healthy results. Okay, so we're creating ideal conditions for growing cucumbers and attracting beneficial insects. But sometimes, especially in those crucial early stages, you need a physical barrier to simply keep pests from even getting to your plants. Point number 5 is mechanical barriers. This method is simple yet incredibly effective against many flying pests that want to lay eggs on your plants or just have a feast on those fresh leaves. Imagine using a thin but durable netting or a special fabric cover. You simply drape it over the bed where you've planted your cucumber seedlings, or even where you've just sown the seeds. What does this achieve? It physically prevents pests like whiteflies, aphids, thrips, or even slugs, if you seal the edges tightly to the ground, from reaching your tender sprouts or young plants. They simply encounter the barrier and can't get through. This is particularly important early in the season when the plants are still vulnerable. They can't really fend off a mass attack on their own. The cover material gives them crucial time to grow stronger. Plus, the cover material creates a favourable microclimate. It helps retain soil moisture and protects against sudden temperature fluctuations. It's important to use a material with a fine enough weave so that pests can't get through. Also, make sure it doesn't rest directly on the plants themselves. Otherwise, pests could potentially damage leaves right through the netting. When the cucumbers grow larger and start to flower, for varieties that need pollination, you'll need to remove the cover to allow access for bees. But for self-pollinating varieties, you can usually leave it on. Think of mechanical barriers as your first line of defence. It's like putting up a sturdy fence around your garden. It won't solve every single problem, but it significantly lowers the risk of infestation during the most vulnerable stages. It's simple, accessible, and completely chemical-free. We've already covered how to protect your cucumbers from above, but now let's turn our attention downwards. What's happening at the base of the stem and on the soil surface? You can create powerful protection right here too. Our sixth method is mulching. Mulch is any material you use to cover the soil around your plants. This could be straw, grass clippings, sawdust, bark, compost, or even special landscape fabric. Mulching offers several immediate benefits. Firstly, it helps retain moisture in the soil. This means you'll need to water less frequently, which is a big plus for preventing overwatering and the dreaded root rot. Secondly, mulch effectively suppresses weed growth. Weeds are major competitors for your cucumbers, fighting for water, nutrients, and sunlight. Fewer weeds mean your cucumber plants can put more energy into growing and producing fruit. Thirdly, organic mulches like straw or grass clippings break down over time. This enriches the soil, improves its structure, and attracts beneficial earthworms. And as we know, earthworms are fantastic for keeping your soil healthy and vibrant. But perhaps one of the most interesting benefits is that some types of mulch can actually help deter pests. For example, fresh straw or sawdust can be quite unpleasant for slugs, and a dense layer of mulch can also create a physical barrier against certain soil-dwelling pests. Furthermore, mulch helps protect the lower leaves of your cucumber plants from direct contact with damp soil. This significantly reduces the risk of fungal diseases that thrive in moist conditions and can splash up from the soil. When choosing and applying your mulch, do it properly. For example, allow fresh grass clippings to wilt slightly before using them to prevent them from becoming a soggy mat. Also, don't make the layer too thick. The soil still needs to breathe. Overall, mulching is a truly versatile technique. It helps promote healthy soil, simplifies your gardening tasks, and simultaneously provides an extra layer of defence against certain pests and diseases. Think of it as another essential building block in your strategy for natural pest and disease control. We've already done a great job setting up the ideal conditions and attracting helpful friends to our garden. But what happens when, despite all our best efforts, the first signs of trouble still show up? Surely reaching for harsh chemicals isn't the first step. Method number 7. Preventative spraying with natural remedies. We have a whole natural pharmacy right at our fingertips, often found in our kitchen or garden. Unlike harsh chemicals that kill everything, these solutions don't wipe out all life. Instead, they create unfavourable conditions for pests and diseases or simply help to slow their spread. Let's take aphids, for example. They really dislike soapy water. Plain old dish soap or a gentle liquid soap dissolved in water creates a thin film on the aphids' bodies, making it hard for them to breathe. Visual. Show someone spraying cucumbers with soapy water from a spray bottle. For spider mites and other sap-sucking pests, infusions made from garlic or onion skins are quite effective. Their strong scent acts as a deterrent. Visual. Show onion skins and garlic soaking in water. And what about fungal diseases like powdery mildew? That's where dairy products come to the rescue. Plain milk whey or kefir, diluted with water, forms a super thin film on the leaves. This film actually makes it difficult for fungal spores to germinate. Plus, beneficial bacteria from the dairy products actually compete with the harmful fungi. Visual. Show someone diluting whey or kefir with water. It's important to understand that these remedies work best as a preventative measure or when you catch issues in their very earliest stages. If a problem has already taken hold, they might not be effective enough on their own. That's why it's important to spray regularly, maybe once a week, or immediately as soon as you notice the very first suspicious signs. Think of these natural sprays as your cucumber plants for first aid and regular immune boost. They're safe for you, for helpful insects, and for the environment. The ingredients are usually readily available and inexpensive. It's a simple and effective way to keep things under control without resorting to harsh chemicals. Okay, we've arrived at the final point in our natural plant protection program. Point number 8. This one does require a little planning, but it's also one of the most powerful tools for preventing problems. Point number 8, and it's a crucial one: crop rotation and choosing resistant varieties. These two techniques are closely linked and they strike right at the root cause of many common garden issues. What exactly is crop rotation? It's the practice of changing the types of crops you plant in your garden beds each year. For example, don't plant cucumbers or other members of the squash family, like zucchini or patty pan squash, in the exact same spot, season after season. Why is this so important? Many common plant diseases and pests are specific to certain types of plants. They can survive the winter in the soil or on leftover plant debris. If you continuously plant the same crop, like cucumbers, in the same spot year after year, you're essentially creating the perfect environment for these specific pests and diseases to build up and thrive. As a result, the problem will only get worse season after season. When you switch up where you plant things, those soil-borne pests and disease pathogens left behind can't find the specific plants they feed on, causing their populations to dwindle. For crops like cucumbers, it's generally recommended not to plant them back in the exact same spot for at least 3 to 4 years. The second part of this crucial point is choosing resistant varieties. Plant breeders are continuously working to develop varieties that are naturally, genetically resistant to the most common diseases found in your area. This includes issues like powdery mildew, downy mildew, or fusarium wilt. Make sure to read the descriptions on your seed packets. They often clearly indicate which diseases a particular variety is resistant to. By selecting these seeds, you're giving your plants a built-in layer of extra defense right from the start. Now, just because a variety is resistant doesn't mean it's completely immune and will never get sick, but it will be far more capable of fighting off infection if it does occur. And when you combine resistant varieties with other natural methods we've discussed, your chances of achieving a healthy, abundant harvest without relying on chemicals drastically improve. Both crop rotation and choosing resistant varieties are long-term strategies. They require planning ahead, often for several years. But this kind of forward thinking is exactly what helps you break the cycle of recurring diseases and pests, ultimately creating a much healthier, more balanced ecosystem in your garden. These practices truly are foundational to successful organic gardening. But here's the most amazing part. None of these methods work 100% effectively on their own. The real magic happens when you use them together. For example, healthy soil, combined with proper watering, attracting beneficial insects, and using natural preventative treatments. That's incredibly powerful protection. You're not just fighting problems after they appear. You're creating conditions where diseases and pests simply won't want to settle on your cucumbers. It's like building a fortress rather than constantly putting out fires. And that's the main secret of organic gardening. It's about prevention, not just treatment. And when you see that clean, crisp cucumber you've grown without chemicals, you'll know the effort was worth it. That's the real wow factor. The fruit of your labour, safe for you and the environment. So there you have it. The 8 natural helpers for your cucumbers. We've seen that growing a healthy crop without chemicals is absolutely possible. It just takes a bit of knowledge and care. Thanks for watching until the end. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future tips. And of course, let me know in the comments, which of these 8 methods are you already using? Or which one will you try first? I'd love to hear about your experiences.